And I think we were at one point 4 months fully booked because there was nothing like this in whole of Australia, so it was great.
Prospect Road is very fast-paced. Lots of people like to do window shopping and they like to buy gifts that you can't find in the department stores.
So I always say if you love something so much, you will always be successful. I do not doubt that at all.
Irene, how are you going?
I'm going great, Tatum. I'm sorry my voice is a little bit low at the moment. I've just come from a few-day cold, so I'll try my best. But I'm very aware that it sounds very low at the moment, but
You'll do well.
I'll do my best. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Mekko Market Prospect. Irene, tell me about your retail offer because you were Australia's first. Yeah,
Australia's first. We opened 2018.
Wow.
Tom and I, we met here in Australia a mere, let's say, 25 years ago. We came back about 15 years ago. When we moved to Adelaide, I had a lot of clothes. I love shopping. I'm a big fashion enthusiast. And I just realized one day, what do I do with my clothes that don't fit me anymore? I put on a bit of, weight this way, and I decided, okay, well, I'm going to sell them somewhere. And I realized there's no way to sell them except consignment stores where they take 50% commission. So that gave me an idea, okay, this is a big gap in the market. And we had been speaking with Tom for a few years. We wanted to open our own cafe. That was the main thing. We wanted a cafe. And then my little sister in Finland told me that Miss Finland, ex-Miss Finland, opened a preloved market and a cafe, a trendy cafe called Relove. And in Helsinki, the capital of Finland. And I had a little Google and I'm like, we can do that. And I think we must be a little bit crazy because, it's a new concept. We didn't know how it's going to go. Actually, it took off very quickly. But I think you have to be a little bit crazy to try something so big. Two businesses in one. But I trusted Tom, his cooking skills. Prospect was still they called it back then already up and coming. I think it's been up and coming for a long time, but now it's definitely getting there. So there wasn't many businesses here, but local people started supporting us from day one. So it's been great.
Wow. And Mekko Market, where did the name come from?
That was actually, again, Tom. We went through everything. Our main kind of like a name that we really were going for was hygge, which is Danish word for like cozy, comfortable. And then a few people started pronouncing it more like Huggies, the diaper brand. So we decided, okay, this is not good, but we wanted to kind of have our, nationality behind it all. So Tom came up with, hey, how about a dress, a Mekko? And I'm like, Mekko Market, that's brilliant. So, that's the name behind it. It's all Tom.
Wow. And putting two ideas together, when you opened on Prospect Road, what was the local support like?
It was great from day one. When we were actually doing painting and getting things ready, people used to come and knock on the door. What are you guys doing here? It used to be an Indian restaurant for quite a few years. So I think people were quite surprised to see something else happen there. So we were fully booked months and months. As soon as we opened the cafe first and then the market opened. And I think we were at one point 4 months fully booked because there was nothing like this in whole of Australia, so it was great. But yeah, we're still supported by a lot of local people. We see the same faces many times a week, and I can't thank them enough. I don't think we would be there anymore because of COVID happened and the rising cost of living, and these same people, they keep supporting us, and many of them actually have become really good close friends. So yeah.
That's beautiful, Irene. How does culture impact your business? Because you mentioned you wanted to create something that, had hand in hand with your identity, your culture. How has that shaped Mekko Market?
Well, we just wanted to basically have a little bit of show people that, we come from far, far away and we want to do something special in Australia. So we kind of decided with the name Mekko has to come a little bit more than just the name and the concept. So it's a Finnish concept. It started in 1980s, and they actually call it self-service flea market. So it's a very long name. I remember sitting in the car thinking, what are we going to call it? We cannot call it a flea market because it just doesn't sound great. And then I'm like, well, we're renting racks ultimately, so let's call it a rent rack market. And then we decided, okay, we were supposed to do just the all-day breakfast, lunch. We actually started with a little bit more fancier things. We would have beef cheek and things like that for lunch. But then a lot of people told me, Irene, the locals, they just want normal breakfast, everyday breakfast. So that's why we changed our menu a little bit. And then we decided we also have to do something Finnish there as well. We didn't want to be a full-blown Finnish cafe because it's a lot of work. Getting certain weird ingredients in, like reindeer, it's not going to happen. So now we try to do at least one dish every season. That's from Finland, a Finnish traditional dish. At the moment, we're doing the salmon soup, and it is always in the winter the best-selling dish. It is absolutely beautiful. So you need to come and try it, Tatum, if you have a chance.
Oh, I do. It makes me so hungry.
Yeah, me too. I haven't actually had a breakfast yet. So yeah, I might head to Mekko after this for some cheeky brekkie.
What inspired you to take this on? I mean, the idea came, what was that day like when you both decided to do this new concept and your partner helping you in the kitchen? What first ignited the spark for you to start a business here in Australia?
I wanted to have a business since I was a young girl. Actually, I wanted to do something for the first time ever. This goes back to my childhood in Finland. My best friend Linda, her dad was the first person to bring a Mustang car to Finland. And ever since that day, I decided I want to do something for the first time ever. And then in Finland, I went to business college for 3 years. That already showed you I really wanted to do something, be my own boss. But I had no idea what I was going to do. When we moved to Australia, I was working in hotels, reception, supervisor, still, hospitality. But I still always had that, I wanted to do something. And I just could not figure it out. I thought, okay, maybe we should have some kind of Scandinavian gift shop and sell, brands like Mekko and, but then I just, it's too risky. Are people actually going to warm up to it? And a lot of shops already sell these kind of brands. So, I just couldn't figure out what to do. So that's why it took quite a few years to realize, hey, preloved markets, that's, tried and tested back home in Finland, but not in Australia. So, I mean, there are a lot of op shops, but it's nothing like it. It's, you're actually shopping someone's personal wardrobe. It's very personal experience. And it's also a very personal experience for the stall holders. I can't tell you the thrill when someone buys something from you and you can actually follow it online in real time. And it just makes you feel so good that someone else is appreciating what you once had in your wardrobe.
It's amazing.
So, thank you. We think it's pretty awesome too.
So for those listening and watching and they've never stepped foot in Mekko Market before, what's the experience like? What do they expect? And can you just describe that? Well,
people usually come in and all I can hear is, wow, this is bigger than I thought. Oh my God, it's massive. So people always assume it's a small little preloved market. We actually had a lady come in the other day and she said to me, I've been here 3 times and I thought your racks were just there, just those 5-10 racks that you have in the cafe. She never realized that we have about 48 racks and we've got 2 full rooms of racks at the back of the building. So what people usually do expect is something small and cozy, I think. And like I said, they're always amazed to see that it's actually a full-blown restaurant with 80 seats and 48 racks full of clothing. So sometimes people find it a bit overwhelming because they realize, okay, I only have 1 hour, but I actually maybe have to spend here all day going through the racks. So but all our staff are friendly. We've got green leafy plants, so it's one of those experiences when you walk in, you just feel really good. And we do, all day breakfast, lunch. We do fresh juices. We do Mexican style hot chocolates. We do a bit of this and that. We do Scandinavian cocktails. So there's absolutely everything. There's something for everyone. So you won't go to Mekko and don't go home with either a nice hot drink or a cocktail or a pre-loved gem in your hand. So always something for everyone to at least to look at. So, yeah.
Irene, what has been your most surprising moment in business so far?
Well, I would say how quickly it took off. definitely. But at the same time, when I say that, I'm amazed how slowly it took off elsewhere. So within 2 years, other pre-loved markets started opening with the same concept. And I think it was 3-4 years later, I counted there was about 30 pre-loved markets in Adelaide. And it's been surprising that it's been slow in other states. I thought it would just take off everywhere. As soon as Adelaide was, full of markets, it's going to be everywhere. So it's kind of like, I knew it was going to be a big hit, but I didn't really understand how big it was going to eventually get. And I'm sure there's a lot of pre-loved markets out there never even heard about Mekko, or they don't even know that Adelaide is full of rent-a-rack markets. They probably heard it from another place. There's 2 lovely ladies in Sydney who have 5 stores, and before they opened, we had a little meeting over the phone. So I was telling them the do's and don'ts, and because we had already been in the business for a couple of years, and they're thriving. They have 5 stores, and it's just everywhere now. Yeah, it's just a great concept. It wasn't ours; we borrowed it from home, but I have to say it's a great concept.
And that must feel so rewarding.
It definitely does. It does. It's a lot of hard work. A lot of people tell me, "Oh, it looks like you don't really have to do anything," but trust me, with the cafe, it's a lot of work. We literally there every day when we open, and it's one of those things we are closed on Tuesdays, so you have that Tuesday off, but the work never ends. It never ends.
How has Prospect Road and where it's going, how has that impacted your business?
I think the location is great. We're so close to the city. There's so many residential buildings around us, which means a lot of local support. It's just great. I couldn't honestly pick a better spot. And everyone in Prospect area are absolutely lovely. Every time we leave from work, we see familiar faces, and every morning we come to work, we see people we know, and sometimes we do secretly wish we would actually live in Prospect. We don't live too far, but it's a great little place to be at. And we're very privileged that Mekko happens to be in Prospect and nowhere else.
Where do you like to go on Prospect Road, Irene?
Well, funny question, Taylor, because we're always at work. So we don't actually go anywhere in Prospect Road at the moment, but we used to when we had a little bit more time in our hands. We absolutely love Rosemont Hall across the road. Their dinners, the atmosphere, amazing. That would be probably the only place we had a chance to go to quite a few times, and we used to go to Cafe Komodo a few times, and but other than that, unfortunately, we don't have many chances. As soon as we finish work, it's getting a bit late, so we usually head home to our dog, and then rewind, and back to work we come the next day.
And for those listening, Irene, who are inspired, they haven't been to Mekko Market Café before, but they might have a wardrobe that's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. What's the process?
So the process is actually very easy. All you have to do is go to our website, and there's a little link, book a rack. So then you have to register with our online platform called Zello. And then Zello will show you the available racks, and all you have to do is press a button, choose the rack you like, enter your details, and voila. And then with the same app, you price your items, and then you come to Mekko, set up your rack, and off you go. And we process all the sales for you. We do have quite a bit more mature ladies who don't like computers, so they usually come to the store and pick up the rack, and then we print them blank product sheets, so basically price tags. So they just handwrite them, and they go home, attach them to the items, and come back, set up. We provide hangers, everything. So there's really nothing else to do. It's very, very easy process. I've done it so many times. I can do it with my eyes closed now. I know exactly how to get it done quickly. I would definitely recommend it to anyone who's got too many clothes in their wardrobe they just simply don't wear anymore. We have some ladies doing thousands a week sometimes. Unfortunately, it does happen. People don't make their money back. But I'm quite reasonable with that. If we have empty racks, I more than happily do give the person another chance, free of charge week. I've been doing that quite a bit lately. If someone has priced them a little bit too high, unfortunately, they won't sell. If it's out of season, like a lot of summer dresses in the winter, might not go as well. So I do like to help these people, and then we'll give it another try. And sometimes the second week might be much better than the first week. So yeah.
For foodies, the menu, describe the menu, what's on it, and yeah, for those hungry people that want to come visit and try the cafe.
Yeah, so we have all day breakfast and lunch. So we do have the common big breakfasts. We do really big meals because we don't want anyone to go home hungry. So we do delicious big Mekkos, we call them. We do breakfast burgers. And then every 3 months we change the menu. So then we have more like a brunch menu. So it's more like a lunch or breakfast item. So you can have it any time of the day. At the moment, we have the Finnish salmon soup. And we also do what Tom absolutely loves making is the pumpkin 2 ways. So you've got kind of like smashed pumpkin and roasted pumpkin together on the same plate, and it is delicious. So it's for the people who are, gluten-free or they vegans can have it, and it's just delicious. And we do now French toast. We're going to do a pancakes, but customer sent me a message, Irene, do French toast. So last minute, we did a French toast instead. So we do listen to customers, actually. We do hear them, what they want to have on the menu, and sometimes we do change things last minute. But basically, it's all-day breakfast. It's good value for money, massive meals. You won't go home hungry.
And what's it like working with your partner, doing this, getting the support from a partner? You're both in this together.
Yeah.
What's that like?
Well, I have to say 99% of the time it's great. It's amazing. You have to ask Tom the same question. I think, it's maybe harder for him than it is for me. So, of course, you get sometimes a bit heated conversations, especially about the menu. So we do the menu ourselves. So every 3 months we sit down and then let's do this. And as soon as we have launched one menu, we start already picking up ideas to another menu. But sometimes my ideas are something that's probably not very easy to do in a small kitchen with not many staff. So I think my vision is sometimes a bit too big. So yeah, we do. We work together very, very well. I have to say, I think we are both surprised how well we work together. But sometimes, I think I get to his nerves more than he gets to my nerves. So sorry, Tom, I do my best.
Irene, for those listening and watching who you might have inspired today, who want to potentially start a business like yours, their own rent-a-rat cafe, or maybe something new. They want to risk it and take the risks. What are your tips for starting something new and, I guess, pulling through?
Well, first of all, I would say to someone who wants to do a rent-a-rat market, get in touch with another person who runs a rent-a-rat market, because it's so valuable to actually find out the do's and don'ts. We had a lovely girl who came in last year from Perth. She flew in and she said she went to a few different rent-a-rat markets, and she asked about how to do this and what do you think about that. And we just told her everything we know because, she's far away from us. So we wanted to wish her all the best and try and help her as much as we can. So speak to someone who's already doing it. I think most of the rent-a-rat owners are pretty chilled, happy to help. And another thing is, don't ever go after a property with low rent, because that usually means bad location. So I think number one is always location, location, location. Nothing else really matters. If anyone wants to open a rent-a-rat market anywhere in Australia, give us a shout. I would be more than happy to help. I went to see the lovely Jo in Lovett store in Sydney. Hi, Jo. She actually rang me one day. She had just opened the store in Sydney, her first day open. And Zella was a little bit difficult because it is a Finnish program. It's the only program in the whole world. Actually, no, that's a lie. There's more in Finland, but they're in Finnish. But this is the only program in English available now all over the world. And she was finding it a little bit difficult because it can be. So I actually flew to Sydney to help her for a couple of days. And now she's doing great. So sometimes people will need a little bit help with that. So, and I would say we've become good friends. We are texting and asking how things are going. And if something's happening with Zella, we're like, hey, did this happen to you? And things like that. So I've actually met other rent-a-rat owners this way and made good friends as well. So, yeah.
That's amazing. Irene, why is buying local and supporting local, in your case, Preloved, more important than ever?
Well, first of all, it brings money to the local community because most of our staff are actually from Prospect area. So it puts money into the local business, but that also means that we can hire more people. So, it's always best to buy from a small business than a big chain store. It goes a long way. And again, we get a lot of support from local people. So I'm forever grateful for them because they could go anywhere else and they choose us, each time. And and I do show it to them as well. I do tell them all the time, thank you so much for your support because it's very hard out there at the moment. So we're very thankful.
That's beautiful, Irene. And Irene, again, for those that want to support you, get behind the business, where do they go? How do they find Mekko Market? How do they learn more about Mekko Market and potentially come on in, have lunch, or bring their wardrobe with them?
Yeah, so all you have to do is go to our website, mekkomarket.com.au. All the information is there. We're at 89 Prospect Road. We have a little car park as well at the back of the building. We don't promote it because we're just worried that it's going to get too packed too quickly. But anyone having a stall, picking up the stall, refilling anything, you're more than welcome to park there. A customer who wants to come and eat, if you cannot find a parking spot, just come and use our car parking. It's no problem at all. And you can also call us. We open 6 days a week. 6 days a week. Tuesdays closed. And just give us a ring and we're more than happy to give you all the information you need over the phone as well. But website is where you find absolutely every single detail you need to know about renting a rack. And you can also book a table there now too.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Irene. It has been a pleasure to hear your story and the creativity and just the passion behind creating something new and you operating and being here on Prospect Road. It's just been such a pleasure. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Tatum. I really appreciate it. It's been great.
Athena, how are you going?
I'm excited.
Oh my God, I'm excited to have you here. This is so exciting. The Parthenon Emporium. You guys have been in business for a long time.
Yeah, this year is actually the 40th year we've been in business. So we started the business in 1985 and this year it's going to be 40 years.
Wow. What does it look like looking back at that? Because did your mum start the business?
Yeah, so my mum and her sister, Desi, they started the business and they ran it very well together. There were a couple of, there was a shop in Welland, that was their first shop. Then they moved to South Road. Then they moved to Henley Beach Road. Then my mum and I moved the shop to May North Road and now we're in Prospect and we're not going anywhere. Prospect Road is by far, I think, the best location because there's lots of families, young families, but there's also a lot of the older people that like to come to the shop and look at our religious pieces that we have. We've got beautiful icons in the shop. It's a much smaller shop, but it's beautiful. It's like a little boutique. And I like that. The other shops were much bigger. This shop is just nice.
No, it's stunning. And you can find something in every corner of your shop.
Literally. We get a lot of people that walk in and go, oh, I don't know where to look. My mum and I are used to it because, well, we're used to putting everything together and just doing new displays and moving our merchandise around. But there's always something to look at. There's always something new. We're always creating new items, whether it be from our christening boxes to our candles. Our christening wear is a big point for us. We specialise in christenings more so, girls' gowns and boys' suits. But we've also introduced a children's clothing line too, because Prospect Road is very fast-paced. Lots of people like to do window shopping and they like to buy gifts that you can't find in the department stores and that you don't necessarily have to go online to find. We do a lot of collectible tin toys, musical boxes, things from all over the world. So not just bought out in China, lots of Belgium toys, just different pieces that don't require batteries, like the old school toys. A lot of people like spending money on that because they're collectible toys. And I remember when I had my children, Harley and Mariah, I bought them tin toys from when they were born, and I wanted them to have them growing up. They both played with the tin toys, and my daughter said, "Mum, I'm going to keep this and give it to my daughter." And I thought, well, hang on a minute, you're only 12 years old, just slow down. But these are toys that can be passed on. You can't really do that with battery-operated toys. So that's what we like to specialise in.
Do you think that's what makes your retail store different from the others?
Yeah, absolutely. The people that do come to buy things from us want to come in, touch, feel, look at how they work. Not just the toys, but even our clothing. I know that there's a lot of big, online stores that, and I'm the first to say that I do it, like Shein, for example. You can buy a baby suit for $13 and it looks good and you wear it once and then it's got to be chucked away. Our clothes are not like that. Our clothes are, we design everything, we have them made, and when you're spending $400-500 on a gown or on a boy's suit, you're really paying for what you get. So that's what we try to focus on more so. So far, so good. 40 years this year.
You mentioned culture before and being here for 40 years, finding Prospect as the destination to do business. How does culture impact your business?
Look, we don't just rely on the Greek community. There's a lot of, we pretty much service all nationalities. So we get a lot of Indian people that come in that want to do special dresses and suits for first birthdays. They're very big on celebrating that. The Italian community, we specialise in the confirmations and communions. A lot of people still like to give bomboniere to their guests for attending confirmations and communions. And then there's also the Greek community that still very much give out bomboniere for weddings, christenings, anniversaries even. Not so much now, but we still do get, we've been married for 25 years and we want to give something out, or this is our 50th wedding anniversary, we want to give something out. We still do that. I can't say we just rely on the Greeks. We don't. We pretty much are a well-rounded, how am I going to say it? Like everyone. And Prospect Road is not just Greeks and it's not just Italians. There's a lot of different cultures. And we see that. We see that and we love that. I mean, I grew up in Prospect, was born in Prospect, grew up in Prospect. I knew that Parthenon Emporium Baby Boutique eventually needed to be on Prospect Road. I knew that. It just feels like home. We eat on Prospect Road, we shop on Prospect Road, we get our hair done on Prospect Road, nails, everything is on Prospect Road. And it's changed the last 10 years especially. The foot traffic and the people that come in and out of the shop, they're our friends, they're repeat people. And we become friends with our customers, and I like that about Parthenon here, on Prospect Road. We've got beautiful Cotto next door. We've got Marati. There's a lot of great spots. I mean, everyone knows us. Can't really do anything without being founded out because we know everyone and everyone knows us.
What do you think inspired your mum to take this on 40 years ago?
I think it was her big sister. Her big sister had an idea, and my mum and her sister, they did so well. It's very hard. I think back then it would have been easier because our shop started with Greek CDs, videos, magazines, statues, then christening wear, then it was homewares. Desi and Maria did the shop so well together that if it wasn't for my auntie Desi, I don't think my mum would have done it. Now, it's all we know. I remember when I was younger, my mum said, "Oh, what do you want to do, Athena, when you grow up?" And I said, "Mum, I'm going to finish school. I'm going to study law, but then I'm just letting you know I'm going to run the shop." And she said, "No, I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to be working on your feet all day. It's a hard job. It's 6 days a week, but it's not hard because when you love what you do, that's all you want to do." And that's exactly what I did. I finished school, I went and studied, got married, I had my children, and then I said, "Sorry, Ma, I told you I was going to do it, and this is what I'm going to do." And she said, "Well, Thea Desi actually wants to finish up. She wants to retire." And I just remember thinking, oh no, if Thea Desi retires, how's she going to retire? She is the shop. She is the face of the shop. She's the life of the shop. What do you mean? How's she going to retire? And my mum said, "But it's all right. Maybe we can do it together." And then I saw Mum in that moment and I thought, oh, this is it. I am going to do the shop. And now, funny enough, after all these years of my mum and I working together, I've got a little Maria, a daughter that I named after my mother. We call her Mariah. And she's 12. And I said to her, even now I say, "Mariah, what are you going to do when you finish school?" And she says, "Mum, I'm going to go and learn to be a teacher. I'm going to study teaching, but then I'm going to do the shop."
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a full circle moment.
Yeah.
How do your local shoppers respond to supporting local?
A lot of the time when we do a little girl's christening, for example, I meet the baby when they're 4 or 5 months old. We do the christening, and then before you know it, we're doing her confirmation. And then when they do their confirmation, they're usually 11, 12 years old. And then they're doing their wedding and seeing that. I mean, sometimes I think, oh my gosh, I remember you when you were 18, 19. And I remember going, I served you. I'd made your gown. Seeing that, I like that. I like when I get those customers. I like when I get young girls, or even some of the young men that come in that are going to be kumbari, so they're going to be the best man to their best friend. Quite often we'll get, "Oh, my mum told me to come and say hello to you and just to let you know that you made my christening suit." And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, but you're like a whole big man. If we weren't a good shop, I don't think we would have that. I'm not bragging, but I am proud of it. I do. I am proud of that.
What has been your most surprising moment in business?
More recently, I'm going to say, can't remember what year it was, Sunny's, Rosemont Hall. How many years ago was that, where it burnt down?
4 or 5, something like that?
When that was such a shock, but when that fire happened, I saw Prospect, not just the businesses on Prospect Road, Prospect as a whole. The support, I don't know, it was like a big family. Like, that was surprising, and it almost gave me a sense of, not that I ever wish anything bad to happen to any business, but I just thought, this is a family. This is a family. We're talking about people that live in the streets. Everyone came. everyone asked, everyone showed concern. I don't know if you'd get that in other suburbs. I'm not sure. Maybe, but that was big. That was like, whoa, everyone actually really cares about each other here on Prospect Road. That was nice.
How has Prospect as a whole, its developments, where it's heading now, how has that impacted your business?
Well, there's a lot more foot traffic now. 10 years ago, or 11 years ago rather, when we opened the shop here, there wasn't apartments going up the way that there are now. There wasn't big apartment complexes, and then other businesses underneath the apartments. There was none of that on Prospect Road. In fact, if you told me, back when I was 15, 16, Prospect Road is going to be like the city, there's going to be apartments everywhere, I would have said, no, not Prospect. Oh, that's the first thing I would have said. But no, it's not Prospect. It's 100% Prospect. And now to even try and get into Prospect, well, good luck. I remember Prospect Road, there being fish and chip shops, little delis, not this. No, and I'm not even that old. Like, I'm only 38. That was seeing that, a cinema on Prospect Road. What?
So it's taken a positive turn then.
100% it has, 100%. And all these new restaurants opening up, there's a lot of people that walk at night. That's why I have got the fairy lights in my shop.
Beautiful.
I love the fairy lights. I feel like I'm having a party every day in the shop.
You walk past and you see yourself, mum, babies, coffee, catching up with friends out the front. For those listening, or for someone listening right now who you may have potentially inspired to open or do their own boutique, or maybe there's someone listening who just wants to get into business and do retail like yourself, or get into babies' clothes, or what would be your ultimate advice for them to pursue that in today's age?
Firstly, they'd have to be very creative, because you can't just rely on one thing. We used to be able to have one thing. We don't. From a baby boutique, we have beautiful jewellery, handmade pieces from Greece. We've got homewares. We've got bomboniere. We've got candles, boxes, kids' shoes, rain jackets. You can't just have one thing. But if you are going to open a business like that, Prospect Road is the place to do it. Not too close to me. I don't want competition. But Prospect Road is the place to do it. But you got to be creative, because you can't just rely on one thing. We used to. Now we can't.
And for those listening, Athena, who want to come in, support you, get behind the business, maybe sit out the front, have a coffee and a laugh.
Absolutely.
How do they get in touch? How do they support you?
You come onto Prospect Road. We're right next door to Cotto, a great, coffee shop, breakfast, lunch. They do everything there. You come, you're either going to see my mum or myself sitting at the front of the shop. We do work. A lot of people come past and they go, do you do anything? Yeah, we do. We spend a lot of time at the front. It's a little bit like Greek style. In Greece, if you go and you see the shops, whether it's clothes shops or even the food shops, there's always a table outside with 2 chairs, and there's about 10 people that hang around that table. We do a lot of work, but we do spend a lot of time with the people in Prospect. We talk to everyone, and if you want to come and do that, come and say hello to myself or to Maria or to Harley and Mariah. They're always at the shop as well. We'd love to meet anyone that wants to come. And I make really good Greek coffee, just saying. I do.
Athena, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on the Prospect Pod. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Trinh, Blossom Box Co. Deputy Mayor Councillor. How are you going?
I'm good. A little bit tired, overworked, but nothing out of the ordinary.
That is very fair, Trinh. Thank you so much for coming on the Prospect Pod.
Thank you for having me.
Trinh, Blossom Box Co. How did this happen? How did you become a florist here on Prospect Road?
So it's actually our 9th birthday, so I've been sharing this story. It's all started from a simple idea. I was working as a pharmacist, so that's actually my background, a pharmacist. And I had gone overseas and I saw this beautiful concept of roses in a box. And I was just like, no one in Australia does this. Like, this looks beautiful. And so when I got back to Australia, I started finding all the products and putting it together, finding like the foam, finding boxes from like the reject shop, that hat box style, to actually put this product together, and started gifting it to my friends for their birthdays. And then I was like, this looks great. I'm going to start taking photos of these. So when I started taking photos of them, I'm like, I'm going to start an Instagram page to start showcasing the things that I'm making. And then funnily enough, I had someone reach out and said, can I please place an order? This was never meant to be a business. It literally was just like a passion project. I was just like taking photos of my work because I just love being a creative. And from that, I took the order on, delivered it, and then she had posted it and tagged me. And then from that, it just went berserk. I then started getting customers messaging me almost every day to place orders. And it got to a point where I was receiving orders every day. So I was still working full-time as a pharmacist at this point. And then I would be going in the market at 4 a.m. in the morning, putting the flowers together, delivering them before I started my shift at the pharmacy. So that's where it all started, just from a simple idea that I loved. Never was meant to be a business. I was working in pharmacy, never knew that 10 years on I'd be working in a flower shop, having my own shop.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
So how did you end up on Prospect Road?
So I live locally, and I actually drive down Myrtle Street every single day when I came home from work from the city. So very familiar with the area, would come to Cotto. So I was already in the area and driving down Myrtle Street every day. So I think I was about 6 months into the business, and I was working from home, doing it on my kitchen bench. But I had customers asking to come, like, see the flowers and see what I had. I'm like, this is a small business. I'm just doing it from home. Don't really have like a shop front or anything like that. I had customers coming to pick up their flowers. And it got to a point where I was like, do I actually need a space? And everyone was against the idea. My family, my friends, the suppliers were saying, Trinh, like, people are closing down. Like, it's a struggle. Like, if you can do it online, you don't need a bricks and mortar store. But I was like, but I've got, customers. My business is growing and I need a space. And funnily enough, I was driving down Myrtle Street one day, finishing my shift probably like 10 o'clock at night. And it was the first day I saw the for lease sign on my current shop now in a big yellow poster. I drove past it and I actually reversed and I stopped in front. I took a photo and I sent it to my family. I'm like, I think this is it. I'm like, I think this is where I want to be. And everyone was like, Trinh, there's going to be overheads. Like, why would you leave like a good job to go start a florist and not know that you're going to be successful? But because I had all these people doubt me and didn't believe in me, I was like, I believe in myself and I know I can do this. So I had started planning. I approached the landlord it just happened, like literally from a simple idea and my passion for it. It was never meant to be a business, and here I am 9 years later.
Wow.
Yeah.
You said that you were a local to Prospect first. What's it like living in Prospect, just being a local?
So we were living in Nailsworth, across the road, across Main North Road. So we've always been around the area, and just living in the area, like you're going to the restaurants, the cafes. So, already knowing like the local businesses. And even when I moved in, like when I first started my business, just having the support of, the neighbouring business, it was just such a welcoming environment. We all looked after each other. I was next to Cotto and Marathi, and we're like a family. Like, we'd do anything for each other. I know I can ask them for a favour, they'll do it for me. If they ask me for a favour, I'll do it for them. We look after each other. So it's such a like welcoming environment. So when I first started, I had Frank from Cotto come over and tell me, it's like, Trinh, like, you've just opened up and it's winter. Like, it's usually quiet time of the year for us. He was like, we're seeing a lot of new faces. Like, we're seeing like people that coming from your shop to like come into our shop, and it's like, for the first time, like, we're actually busy. Like, you know, there's growth in this month, like, compared to the last year's. He goes like, we're seeing like new faces because they're coming for your business. And the same as Marathi, they're like, Trinh, like, we're seeing a lot of your customers come through. Like, so they're coming to get flowers and they're coming to get cake. And it was for me as well. I had customers coming to from Marathi and saying, oh my God, like, I went to go buy a birthday cake and I just saw that you have flowers here. Like, it's perfect. And now I don't have to go down the road. Like, it's convenient. So like, you know, I was bringing in customers. They were bringing customers to me. So like, it was just like, we just support each other. So it's just been great. Like, and then I try to keep everything local. You know, I go to like Pilates down Churchill Road. I go to the dentist on Prospect Road. So anything I can, I keep in the area. So I live in Prospect. I don't ever leave Prospect, really.
Mm-hmm. So what inspired you? I mean, first of all, business owner, local council. What inspired you to take on that role, and how did you end up in that?
So it's probably also because I'm passionate. So this was during COVID, and then there were some restrictions with parking, and I did get some fines from council, my staff and my customers as well. So I found that, you know, there's obviously a lack of parking, and, you know, it's not just Prospect, it's everywhere. You know, in every area you go to, there's always going to be issues with parking. We didn't have a loading zone for like our couriers, you know, deliveries. Customers wanting to just come in to pick up flowers or grab a coffee or grab a cake. And, you know, I've spoken to council and they've now put a loading zone right in front of my store. So that's great, but it's still not enough. But during that period, staff were receiving fines, customers were receiving fines because they parked on a yellow line to quickly run in to get something, and they got a $150 fine. And the feedback I'm getting, obviously, is the customers like, you know, we want to support you, but it's just so hard to find parking. And I've even had customers text me to say, like, Trinh, like, you know, I love you and I always support you, but I've driven around, I can't find a convenient park, I've had to go to another florist, you know. So just hearing that feedback, like, is upsetting. You know, you've got customers that want to come and support you, yet, you know, because of the parking issue or because they've been fined in the past, they didn't want to come back. Like, you know, it's kind of left a sore spot, you know, for them. They're like, oh, like, you know, I just had to pay $150 to pick up a $50 bunch of flowers. So during that period, I was like speaking to council, attending meetings, just trying to figure out ways that we can fix the issue. And I was like kind of like the spokesperson for all businesses, you know, because Frank, like the guys at Marathi, like, it was an issue for all our businesses. If we're losing customers because, you know, we don't have adequate parking, it's going to be damaging to businesses. And what happens when businesses don't do well? We'll close down and go somewhere else. So I was kind of like just being like more proactive to try to work, you know, on ways that we could try to fix the issue. Still an issue now. We've got the integrated transport plan happening at the moment. So hopefully, you know, we'll have some ideas of how we can fix it. And I know it's a difficult like issue to tackle, but that was kind of like the reason why I like went on and ran for council. I was approached Rachel Sanderson at the time, who was our local member, and I was telling her, and I said, what can we do? And she goes, you're really passionate, aren't you? I was like, of course I am. Like, you know, if it affects like me, like my customers, of course I'm going to make a stand. And she goes, you should run for council. And I was like, why would I run for council? Like, and she's like, because you're passionate. Make that your campaign, that you're going to fix the parking. And I was like, oh, okay. And that's where that idea sparked. So I ran a campaign. And it's really funny when I ran the campaign. Obviously, you know, I'd had no interest in it before, but just knowing that I was going to be like, you know, pursuing something to help, you know, the business community made me want to do it. So everyone, and when I decided to run, all the local businesses like were so happy. It's like, yes, finally, like, you can be our voice. like, you know, like, thank you so much, because they're like, we don't have the time to do it. And I was like, I don't have the time to do it either. Having a business is like enough already. But yeah, like I was passionate about it. So I decided to run. And then again, like I had people say like, do you really think you're going to get in? Like, do you know what you're doing? And I don't like being, yeah, like I didn't, yeah. I know that when I love something and I'm passionate about something, like I'm going to make it happen. So ran my campaign with a lot of people not having like faith in me, and I won with the most votes.
Trinh, what makes Blossom Box Co. different? What makes your offerings different?
Our boxes. So like I said, no one else was doing it in Adelaide, so I was the first to kind of bring that concept. And then I had no one in Australia makes these boxes, so I had to source them from overseas, and I had to talk to suppliers, and that was a big learning lesson in itself. You know, I was shipping containers worth of stock from overseas, and I didn't realise that you got to pay certain things and taxes. So it was a huge learning curve for me. But yeah, the round hat boxes and the roses, that was kind of our point of difference. And till this day, you know, it's what people know us for, our boxes. And with our 10-year anniversary next year, I am going to be rebranding and launching and kind of like, yeah, changing it up a little bit, because 10 years is a milestone. So I'm already working now, you know, to be rebranding for our 10th birthday. So lots of changes coming.
So exciting. So Trinh, from your customers and the locals coming in from Maradi, Cotto, wherever they're coming from, how do they influence your business? How do you operate a business but also try to stay ahead and cater to your customers?
I'm always following like florists from overseas, and you know, making sure that I'm staying ahead of the game. So introducing new things, new products. Like our biggest day is Valentine's Day. So every Valentine's Day, I have to make sure, like I've got customers for the last 9 years, and they can't be buying the same stuff for their girlfriends and their partners. So I always have to make sure that I bring something new every year, slightly different. So new packaging, new products. So yeah, I always make sure, and like, you know, for Valentine's Day being the biggest day of the year for us, like we're planning from the year before, you know, so like by the end of like the previous year in November, like you should start thinking about concepts and what ideas you'd like to do, because then you also got to place orders for these products to get here on time. And over Christmas, a lot of businesses shut over the New Year period. So, you know, you got to factor that in. So it takes so much planning, you know, to be prepared for a day like that, and Mother's Day as well. So yeah, always researching, always following trends overseas, and making sure that, yeah, we're bringing fresh ideas that's different.
And with yourself, Trinh, being here at Prospect, where do you go? Where do you like to shop? Where do you get coffee?
Oh my God. I live in Prospect. Like my friends and family know if they want to come see me, if they want to see me, they have to come to me. So I live in Prospect. Like I live at work, everything I do. So coffee, Cotto, cakes, Maradi, spread the love. I also love Bottega coffee as well. Lunch, mostly Sunny's. Go to. It's quick and easy. It's just like, you know, a 1 minute walk around the corner. The staff in there literally is like, do you not get sick of the food, Trinh? Like you're here like every single day. I was like, but I have something different and it's always good. So why wouldn't I come back? I go to the dentist, my Prospect Dental. I go to the podiatrist on Prospect Road. Yeah, anything I can, like I definitely keep it local. And, you know, these business owners also support me, you know, so I make sure, you know, Marriott, the Body House, I go there and use the infrared sauna, get my facials done there. Yeah, so pretty much everything I do, I try to keep local. Yeah, I because it's convenient for me too.
And it's hard not to.
I don't have the time to go travel further because, you know, I got to keep my like travel distance short. So everything I do, I keep in Prospect. Yeah.
So Trinh, for those listening and watching the podcast, for those potential upcoming florists who want to, you know, you've hit something and they are now completely inspired and they want to follow your footsteps, to start a business, entrepreneurs, what's some advice? What would you tell your younger self stepping into a business? And yeah, I mean, what does it take? What do people need to know to be able to do this?
So it doesn't have to be, pursuing a career in floristry. Like I always say, and especially to the young ones that, my staff, like I always speak to them and encourage them, say, what do you love? Like, what do you enjoy doing? Because, when you're working and you choose a career path, that's what you're going to be doing every day. So I'm like, you got to make sure you love doing what you do every single day. You don't want it to be a job that you like, oh, you're dragging your feet, oh, I got to go to work today. You should be excited to wake up and go to work. So I always say, and I have this conversation so many times, sometimes I'm caught up in the shop talking to a customer about their business or their passion for like an hour. And I'm like, oh my God, I've got so much work to do. I've just wasted an hour. Not wasted an hour. I've just spent an hour speaking to someone, but I'm passionate about it. I did a post yesterday about this. I had a conversation with a customer and it just reminded me to tell the story, like how I started. But I always say, like, if you love what you do, you're going to work hard. Like, you're going to push, you're going to fail, but you're going to keep trying. You're going to get back up and you're like, how can I do this better? How can I do this different? You're going to find ways because you love it so much. If you don't love it, you're going to be like, oh, I failed. I give up. Nah, I'm not going to try anymore. But when you love something, like, you will find a way to make it happen. So I always say, if you love something so much, you will always be successful. I do not doubt that at all. Because when you love something, you're gonna make sure that you get it done. You're gonna make sure you get there. So if you don't love it enough. Yeah.
And also for those listening and watching who have not stepped a foot inside of Blossom Box Co., what's the experience like? Take us on the journey from walking in, what's there, the smells, what's on offer, and what can people buy?
Yeah. So it's funny, it changes every 6 months. I'm always changing the layout of the shop. People come say, did you do something different to the shop? And every year I'd be renovating the shop. I'll be like putting a new wall up, changing the paint. But we had a pretty big renovation last year. But yeah, when you walk in, I can't smell this, but everyone goes, oh my God, it smells so nice in here. Because we're there every single day. I actually can't smell it. But that's the first thing most customers will say is like, it smells so good in here. So I think it's a combination of the flowers, combination of the diffusers and the candles that we offer. And they're like, what's that smell? I'm like, I actually don't know. Like, I don't know if you're smelling the flowers or if you're smelling the candles or the diffusers, but it's one of those things. But yeah, over the years, obviously, I've learned, like, people are buying flowers for graduations or a new baby, condolences, sorry gifts, thank yous. And then when I first started, I obviously had a very small offering, but over the years, I've established what people need when they buy flowers. So then, we started incorporating baby gifts when people were buying things for newborns, and then graduations. I've had to start getting like graduation bears or thank yous, or for a male. I was like, oh, what do you have for a male? And then at the start, I didn't really have much for males. So I had to start thinking of what else I could do. So I started introducing hampers, and I try to like stock local brands as well. So if a customer that's coming to me tells me about their business, and what they do, I was like, oh my God, like, I'd love to stock your stuff. So I really want to keep it local. And I always try to support other small businesses too. And then for a period of time, like, I was stocking a lot. Like, I had a whole section of like local small businesses that I wanted to stock just to help them, promote their business as well. So yeah, like I said, I love seeing people pursue their dreams and passions. And I have like a few customers at the start that, supported me. One of my first customers, I'm going to mention her name, Angela. Hope you don't mind. But she was one of my first customers, one of the first 3 customers. And she offered to make my cake for my grand opening. And it was a beautiful cake. And I said, like, how are you just doing this for fun? Like, you need to like start doing this as a business. And she was like, no. And I was like, no, you should. Like, I would pay for this. Like, this is it's like a professional style, beautiful cake. And I really pushed her to start a page and start her own business. And she was thriving. And she's like, yeah, like, you're the reason why I started my business. Other females that have come into the store, that were doing like beauty from home for like their friends. And they would be like, oh, like, Trinh, I really want to start this business, but, like my like partner doesn't believe in me. He said, don't leave your like full-time job. And I was like, babe, like if you think that you can do it and this is what you want to do, like you do it, like, and you work hard to get there. And this customer also has started that business and she's still doing it now. So like I always push people to pursue their dreams. And I said, if you work hard, like you will be successful. Like believe in yourself. It doesn't matter if no one else believes in you, just believe in yourself.
So Trinh, touching on local, why is it important to support local?
I think it's more important now than ever to support local businesses. As a business owner and having many friends in business, like I know that everyone is struggling. I think with the cost of living, costs of everything going up, businesses are finding it tough right now. So a lot of the business owners that I know, they're all struggling because, people are not spending as much. Definitely in my business, I feel like my business is more of a luxury. So that's, a cost that people can cut. So I definitely have seen, a decline, in the bigger spendings, the gift giving, if they were spending like $100, they might be cutting it back to $50. So I feel like, times are tough for everyone. So, you got to cut back where you can. And even that, like I've also tried to like, change my range to like, offer like, more like reasonable prices, just to like keep the costs lower, just to help with that as well. But yeah, I think everyone is struggling, like, people, businesses. So it's really important that, we support the small businesses, like now more than ever.
And Trinh, for those that are about to have their graduation or they want to say sorry to that special someone, they want to come in, they want to see you behind the business and pet those two cute little sausage dogs. How do they find you? How do they support you? And how do they get behind Blossom Box Co?
The dogs, Coco and Honey, are usually at work with me. So they have their own little fan club. I have like customers that just come in just to like visit them and pet them. And I'm like, that is totally fine. Like they are here whenever you want to see them. But yeah, I'm always in the business every single day. I might be in and out, going to a meeting, going to meet a resident. So sometimes it is hard to catch me. So I always say to like, people that are wanting to come see me, make sure you let me know. So I make sure I'm there. But I'm there every day. Like it's, if I'm not there, I might be at Sunny's or at Cotto getting a coffee. I'm in the area. I'm not far. So if you really want to see me, just text me. I'm sure I'm like 5 minutes away. I'm somewhere in Prospect. But yeah, like always happy to have a chat. Always happy to encourage people, to do what they love. Always willing to like, give back. So, when I have like small community groups or schools, fundraisers, like Blossom Box, we're always happy to contribute in any way we can. But I'm a people person. I love talking to people.
Yes, you are, Trinh. Trinh, it has been an absolute pleasure chatting with you and learning the story behind Blossom Box Co. and the passion to continue on doing more things like going for council. Thank you so much for coming on the Prospect Pod.
No, thank you for having me.